In today's video, I'm going to make a creamy carbonara that may or may not be better than the traditional one. That is for you guys to decide. But often with, traditional carbonara, or the matter of fact, other rich cream pastas, whether you are using actual cream to make the sauce or just, emulsification of a fat, oftentimes I experience major flavor fatigue where the sauce is too one note, too creamy, and you feel too oily by like the end of the dish. But yeah, to counterbalance those tendencies, I have added a twist, so let's get right into it. The secret to bringing some additional depth into this dish is garlic. The garlic cuts through the richness and monotone flavor of a cream pasta. In fact, once you fry this up with the grease, it also becomes crispy like a garlic crisp and brings a whole other dimension to such a one-note dish. But yeah, in order to get those bites of heterogeneity, chop that garlic into, nice thin slivers so they can fry in that bacon grease and crisp up. As alluded, I'm using bacon as the source of grease, and the main reason is because I don't have Guanciale available readily. I have around 3 grocery stores near where I live, and either they don't sell it or a small piece is like $30. And you know what I could buy for $30? I can buy 3 of these bacon packs, so yeah, ain't doing that. But yeah, cut the bacon into bite-sized chunks. If possible, don't get those really smoked American-style bacon, but get something with a milder taste profile. Once that is all done, add the bacon to the pan where the heat is on a medium-low heat, and then render the fat. This is a slow process, which is good because you have to prep some other ingredients. Just make sure you move the bacon around occasionally so it doesn't burn. Next, moving on to the other ingredients. Get an egg per person is the best rule of thumb in terms of making enough sauce. Then crack each egg and isolate the yolk from the whites. We're going to use the yolk and mix it with some grated cheese, so put that in a larger bowl. In terms of the whites, I usually make an egg white omelet the next day because, after this meal, you have to eat clean for like a month. Once everything is separated, add boiling water to a pot and then add salt and your spaghetti noodles. Next, add the garlic to the pan with the bacon. By now, a decent amount of bacon fat should have rendered out, so when you add garlic, it will gently fry in the bacon grease and crisp up. Once the garlic is added, add the black pepper to the dish. I like to add a bunch of black pepper at the most coarse grind because I actually like sometimes biting into the crushed black pepper because it really helps cut through, once again, that richness and bring some texture to such a monotone dish. Next, we are going to grate some Parmesan Reggiano. As we all know, carbonara is traditionally made with, Pecorino Romano, but once again, I either can't find it or it's so expensive that logically it does not make sense to buy it. Like, this block of Parmesan Reggiano is not a pushover too. It is the real thing, and probably the Pecorino Romano, this size, would be like 30% more expensive. And this block of Parmesan Reggiano isn't even that cheap. And I bought it from Costco, so, good luck finding something that makes sense. Although, one guilty thought I had was, I do want to try making carbonara with that pre-grated green can cracked Parmesan cheese to see if, the dish even works. But yeah, the goal is to grind till you have a mountain of grated cheese. Once the cheese is grated, give that spaghetti another stir. Also, stir the bacon and garlic one last time. I'm going to do something controversial, but, I've already broken some rules in this dish. But essentially, I always like to soak up a paper towel full of bacon grease. These YouTube videos online make it seem like you need a lot of grease to make an emulsion occur, but honestly, I almost drained most of the fat out and have successfully made rich sauces from just the grease lingering around the bacon and garlic alone. Also, I don't want to get a heart attack, so yeah, don't hate me. Now, back to the bowl with yolks and cheese. I add a couple tablespoons of milk because, honestly I don't know, but I've always have and it always tastes good. But yeah, this step is, I guess, totally optional. Next, mix the egg mixture. It'll look as if there is not enough liquid with the cheese soaking everything up, and that's how you know you've added enough cheese actually. It looks like a thick polenta at the very end, so yeah, aim for that sort of texture. Now, by the time you are done with everything, your spaghetti noodles are probably done. Don't drain them over a strainer, but let the starchy water linger around the noodles and transfer the noodles to the pan with the bacon and garlic. This will not only bring the necessary water required to create the emulsion, but it will also cool down the pan a bit so that you don't get scrambled eggs. But yeah, now stir in the egg mixture over low heat or just turn the heat off completely and mix. If you think your sauce is too thick, add more starchy water into the pan and mix again to lighten the sauce. For me, it was fine, but yeah, this stage is surprisingly hard to mess up. I think those concerns in those YouTube videos just overblow the risk, or I'm just a cooking god. Anyways, and that's, basically it. What you have is essentially a delicious carbonara that I believe tastes better than the original one because it allows a dish that is pretty monotone in flavor to have some sharp garlic scents to cut through the richness of the creamy sauce, and also provides that texture to that whole dish. Pretty good, so try it out.